Yo, what's up, YouTube viewers? This is Charlie Brown, aka Carlos Blue Faucher, and you're watching the Faucher Boxing um, in association with Charlie Brown Boxing YouTube channel. And you're watching the prediction and analysis video for the Daniel Geale and Gennady Golovkin fight. It's going to take place next week. I believe the fight, I don't even know what titles that are up for grabs, but oh, there it is, the WBA and IBO middleweight titles. Um, I'll start with Daniel Geale, and I'm glad this fight is happening. By the way, I've got to congratulate both fighters for making this fight. It's a very good fight. Um, I'll get straight into it. I'll start with Daniel Geale. He's 33 years old, like myself, 5'10", same height as me actually, 71-inch reach. He's had a total of 32 fights, 30 wins, 16 knockouts, 2 losses. He won gold at the Commonwealth Games in 2002, and I believe that was at welterweight. Actually, I believe he's sort of blown up, not blown up, but he's come up quite nicely into the middleweight division. Um, he has mixed it with good opposition. His first major fight in Australia was against Anthony Mundine, in which he lost in a split decision. There are some people that, not myself, but there are some people that felt that he could have gone either way. I think Anthony Mundine did quite enough to win it though. But you know, he has mixed it also with Sebastian Sylvester in Germany when he was good. I mean, I don't know what Sylvester's saying now, but back in the day, he was a good up and coming German fighter. That's actually when he won Daniel Geale won the IBF middleweight title. You know, he's been in there with Osmani Wadama, Felix Sturm. That was a very good fight in which Daniel Geale won. That was a very good fight, man. He retained the IBF middleweight title, and he won the WBA super middleweight title. Um, I believe not the super middleweight title, but the actual super WBA title, whatever that is. I don't know, but anyway, he won that belt. He then faced Anthony Mundine in a return match straight after that and beat him unanimous decision. Then he lost to Darren Barker, and recently he just came back against Garth Wood, and now he's in there with Gennady Golovkin. And Gennady Golovkin, I'll start with him quickly as well. He's 32 years old, 5'11". I think he's got 73-inch reach, if I quite rightly remember. He's had 29 fights, 29 wins, 26 of those wins by knockout, no losses, no draws. And his amateur record was very good. He won gold in Bangkok, 2003 at the World Championships. He won silver in Athens, 2004, the Olympic Games, and the Asian Games in Busan in 2002. He won gold at light middleweight. And I believe there's the Asian Games, and I think there's the other one called the Asian Championships where he won gold in Puerto Princesa in 2004. That was just before he went to Athens. But anyway, he's got a very good amateur pedigree, Gennady Golovkin, a very high knockout ratio as well. But here's the thing with Gennady Golovkin. He hasn't really mixed it, and I've been very critical of his professional career, and I don't care what people say. A lot of people say I'm hating and blah blah. I'm not hating, man. I'm just giving my opinion. He hasn't really mixed it with decent opposition. You know, I can't even name some of the fighters right up until he was 26-0. Really, No, there's not one name there. All right, no, he beat. All right, when he was 20-0, he beat Kasim Yuma, uh, the TKO in the 10th round. But you know, other than that, he didn't really fight anybody until he went to Madison Square Garden when he was 25-0. Sorry, and he fought Gabriel Rosado. The Japanese guy Ishida, I don't really count that fight in Monte Carlo. He beat Matthew Macklin. Um, but to me, Matthew Macklin, you know, he was petrified before he even got in there. I don't care what Matthew Macklin says. He seemed to me like a very scared fighter going into there. I don't know what happened. Um, he kind of boxed to the wrong tactics. He actually boxed to a way that catered Gennady Golovkin, and he was able to, Golovkin was able to go to the body and go to work basically. But to me, Matthew Macklin was petrified before he went in there. And then most recently, he beat the same Osmanu Adama who Daniel Geale beat earlier on. And basically, I can't really, other than Rosado, Macklin, and Adama, you know, Golovkin hasn't beat anybody, and I'm really getting a bit really tired of boxing and how boxing always builds up these kind of punches and swarmers as if they're killers, as if they're machines. I mean, I don't mind if you do it against good opposition, but if you're going in there with guys that are petrified of you, in awe of you, um, or guys that are just going in there to get a paycheck, I mean, that's okay at the beginning of your career. You've got to build up your record. It's understandable. But at this stage, this is Golovkin's biggest fight of his career. And Daniel Geale does have the remedy for me to beat Golovkin. Daniel Geale is a very talented boxer. He's got a style. He's got good footwork. He's got good boxing ability, and he can fight. If it comes down to it, he can fight. Golovkin also can box, but he hasn't really displayed that boxing ability because he hasn't needed to, because the opposition he's faced he's been match made very well. I'm not going to lie. He's been match made very, very well. And I understand that promoters, obviously, it's a hard job for them. They've got to keep their fighter winning. But to call this guy one of the best pound for pound in the world is just beyond me. It's ridiculous. I don't believe he's even in the top 10. I mean, it's based upon your opposition. You've got to fight good opposition to be considered a pound for pound great legend, whatever. You have to be, you're only as good as your last fight. And if your last fight is Osmanu Adama, and for me, okay, you don't include Garth Wood, the fight before that, Daniel Geale fought Darren Barker and Anthony Mundine, and before that, Felix Sturm, and Osmanu Adama before Felix Sturm as well. It's easy to see that Daniel Geale's mixed it with better opposition and certainly has the remedy to beat Golovkin. Like I said, I'll go back to it. They done the same thing with Golovkin that they did with Lucas Matisse. He fought a whole heap of nobodies, fighters, guys with long layoffs, knockover opponents. They build up the record to something ecstatic, something amazing, like 25-0, 26-0, and everybody starts going crazy. Yeah, this guy's a killer. Blah 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 blah. Lucas Matisse went in there against Danny Garcia, gave his best shots. I mean, he stayed in the fight all 12 rounds, but he gave his best stuff. His best work was in the first 5 rounds. And I had him winning all those first 5 rounds. And then after that, it was Danny Garcia's fight. 7-5, that's what I had it. But personally, I kind of see this fight going the same way. I see Golovkin coming out there, knocking down Geale, maybe knocking him down in the second or third round, maybe even the first. And I can imagine the crowd getting crazy. I'm sort of visualizing it. Crowd going crazy, the commentators kissing Golovkin's ass. But I feel Geale has got something in his armory to just get up. And I think if he boxes on the back foot, doesn't really get involved in there, doesn't get involved in the tear up at all, boxes to his strengths, I think he outpoints Golovkin and shocks the world, and it will be a big shock to the world. It won't be a shock to me, but it will be a big shock to the world. If that doesn't happen, if Geale goes in there respecting Golovkin and goes in there petrified and giving him too much respect, he's gonna get killed, man, inside 3 rounds. Because Golovkin thrives on fear. He's one of them guys who thrives on the fear of another fighter. So hopefully Geale can negate that strength of Golovkin's by either evading his best shots or absorbing it, whatever he can do. And I think if he hangs in there, he has the boxing skills and the style to definitely cause Golovkin problems. It would be a shock for me if Daniel Geale knocked him out. It would be a real shock. But many people would say Daniel Geale lost to Darren Barker, so how does he stand a chance? But for you to beat, I think, Felix Thuram beat Darren Barker, and Darren Barker landed on his hip. I don't think it was just that he landed on his hip. I mean, he took a lot of shots to the hip and to the body as well. He was able to knock Darren Barker's hip out of place, as well as Darren Barker landing on his hip as well. I'm not going to criticize Darren Barker because he's a good boxer as well, man. But, if you're able to beat Felix Thuram, and Felix Thuram, after you lose to Darren Barker, Felix Thuram is able to beat Darren Barker, then it says a lot about Daniel Geale. He's not a guy to be underestimated. I hope to God he's not intimidated by this guy. I hope he goes in there and hits him from all the kind of angles that I know that Daniel can do, because he does use angles. He can pressure fight as well as box. So it will be interesting to see how this fight transpires. But I'm gonna pick Daniel Geale for this one on a split decision. Like I said, I expect Daniel Geale to get knocked down, maybe even get cut. But I see him getting up and giving Golovkin a boxing lesson. Mind you, if Golovkin wins it, it will almost definitely be by stoppage. Very early, within the first 3 rounds. If that happens, and that is a big if. So I'm going to go with Daniel Geale, split decision. Definitely the better boxer out of the two, and killing this myth of Golovkin, once and for all. Because I'm really not in favor of how they build up, guys with that kind of style. They always build them up on weak opposition, and then when they meet somebody that can box, it's a different story. So anyway, I'm going to say that Daniel Geale, split decision. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I will reply to you. Let me know what you think, how it will go, and who got picked. Have a good weekend. Bless.